Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Wolves of Shadowed Fate. Episode 22. Chapter 119 to 123. Clive feels bad because when Aaron wakes up, he has to tell him that his mate and son were dead. Darren is running the pack right now per the pack's protocol. I hate doing it, but I feel like I need to move to the window. I look out to where they ran off into the woods again, and I see him standing perfectly still right where he disappeared. He was looking right at me. He waves at me. How can he even see me? I gasp in shock at seeing him. His smile is huge and I can see him actually start laughing, as he sees my reaction to him. My heart is racing and I am scared. I swear it seemed like he licked his lips at the sound of my heartbeat going into overtime. But that is impossible, he couldn't hear that from at over 600 feet away. It just wasn't possible. I mind-linked Clive, who immediately got a patrol heading to the area. The vampire seemed to know what I did, and shook his head at me, like he was disappointed that I had told on him. He waved good night to me and took off into the woods. He seems to think that he is cute, but he is not. I mean, he was handsome, but he isn't doing anything for me personally. Why he came back is worrying me. Why did he come back? How did I know that he was there? Most importantly, where are his friends? What possessed me to go and look out the window? How could he see me from that far away? It was almost like he knew when I saw him out there. When my heart rate increased in fear, I know I saw him lick his lips. Is it because of who I am descended from? Is that why he wants my blood? I do not feel safe, at all. As cocky as he is, I would not put it past him to try to crawl in my window tonight. He made that jump easily. But would it be to kill me as he drank my blood, or for another reason? I have no reason to trust him at all. I slid my gun under my pillow and fell into a fitful sleep. If he shows back up here again, I will show him the true error of his ways. Reagan's POV sleep never really came to me last night. My mind was awake and running with all kinds of bad thoughts. I knew the warriors were here, but I also saw the strength of the men. If Aaron and Clive were almost ineffective against them, what chance did I, or these warriors, have against them? My anger at them just coming here, onto our land, is staying with me. They hurt our alpha and killed his mate and child. That kind of act cannot go unchallenged. We don't wander onto their land, as we have treaties in place. My fury at the sheer gall of them and what they have done has me almost shaking in anger. They came here and killed 4 of our pack members, that I know of already. Who knows what else they did during the night? That was the scariest part. They are shadows in the night, unseen until it is way too late. I am terrified for my family and for the pack. We are going to have to do something about this. We have to be able to sleep. I can already tell that I will have to grab some sleep today if I can, so I can stay up tonight. Until we get them taken care of, I will not be able to really sleep properly again. They do not care about starting a war with us. They were almost mocking us with how they treated us yesterday. Disrespectful to our pack, and our species. Clearly unconcerned about the uproar they are causing here at Blood Tracker. I saw nothing but cockiness coming from the 2 men in the group. They will not stop unless someone kills all 3 of them, or they will just keep coming back and picking us off, one at a time. I cannot live like this, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I hope Aaron reaches out quickly to Blake for some help in dealing with this. It is already so serious with their willingness to kill the Luna of the pack. No one will be off limits to them. They could feel her power, they knew who and what she was to the pack, and yet they killed her anyway. I am still horrified at seeing what they did. I won't say that I liked her, but that was just a terrible way to go. Seeing your child murdered right in front of you like he didn't matter. Her heart had to have been broken. Their screams are still vivid in my mind as I remember what happened last night. It wasn't even completely dark, it was dusk. I mean, it wasn't bright, the light was filtered, but I thought that they cannot be in any sunlight. They must be more powerful vampires. Stronger, if you will, than regular vampires, to be able to do that, but I admit my knowledge of them is not great. I wish I had paid more attention in class when they discussed it. I attempt to call my father again, but cannot get in touch with him, or my mother. I know that they would know what I needed to do. I cannot allow this time to pass without being able to defend myself and my family. I don't know who to call now. Aaron is knocked out, Clive is with him, and he has not told me that Aaron has even woken up yet. The pack is in a total panic right now, and rightly so. No one wants to lose their mate, or pup to a disgusting bloodsucker. I reached out to my parents again this morning. Neither of them answering me is starting to get me worried. I tried to call Cheryl, as she and I started talking again, occasionally, about 10 years ago. My parents had shown them what had happened to me, and according to Mom, both Blake and Cheryl had felt terrible about what had happened. I didn't tell my parents the whole story at the time it happened, about what Garrett and Mark had done. They found out later on, as I didn't need any more issues arising, with anyone else in the pack. I felt safe and comfortable here, and I just wanted to put it all behind me. I was in a good place and I didn't need them telling some more crap to someone else here, and taking the chance of getting it started back up again. I like my peace of mind. I do not want to be engaged in any drama. I just want to be happy with Clive and my children. Cheryl didn't answer either, and now I am getting concerned. I hope there isn't a problem at Black Moon. I am really concerned for my parents. I feel like I need to see if a warrior can go over there to check on them for me, as I know that I can't go over there myself. Blake might have felt guilty over what had happened to me, but he has not forgiven me or lifted my banishment. I am quite sure that he would throw me in a cell if I dared to go over there. I mind-linked Judy to see if she could get Darren to call and ask if everything was okay there, as I was worried as neither my parents nor Cheryl would answer my calls. She said that she would call herself as Darren was currently at the Pack Hospital with Clive and Aaron. I am glad that she is someone that I can trust to help me when I need it. She was thankful for the opportunity to be a mom and appreciated that I didn't try to micromanage them over the children. They are excellent parents and I know that they would die protecting their children. They were all anyone could hope for in their own parents. I appreciated the love and care that they give them. I have my hands full right now, but just like with the situation with Eloise, I would have taken them back if I felt that they were at any risk of being hurt. I think that Darren and Judy are some of the best parents in the pack. I am so glad that they are so willing to help me, whenever I need them. I know I can count on them to help me out. I made breakfast for the children and then took the younger children to the pack daycare. I have something that I needed to do, and it cannot wait. I left the 5 warriors that had come on duty this morning with them. The pups needed to be protected, and the workers appreciated me leaving them there. They had half of the normal number of kids there, about 30 of them because some were scared to leave their homes. I told them I would be back in about 4 hours and then headed to the pack library with my 5 oldest children. I was going to need some help with my research, and they were all going to be helping me. They were all good with helping once they realized what we were going to be doing. Henry and Tatiana loved to Google things on the computer, so I had them check all the Werewolf Online archives that the elders share with the packs, for ways to be able to kill vampires. I know that we cannot go without sleep for long, and I knew they didn't sleep very well last night either. I will not be able to sleep with this threat looming over our heads. I grabbed several books and gave Trevor and John 2 books each, and some paper to write on for anything they could find about killing vampires. This was not something I ever thought I would have to worry about. I have never heard of any packs in the area having to worry about it in my lifetime. I just need all hands on deck to get this done. I knew the ranked wolves were busy, and someone is going to have to take the lead in this and quickly. I know for a fact that they won't just leave us alone. They are killing about 2 people a day, and I know that they will be returning tonight. I can feel it in my bones, and I will not be getting caught by surprise again by them. I hope that all of the warriors are being careful on patrol, and are armed. Although with as fast as these vampires are, I have doubts whether or not the men can get a shot off before they are on them. I hear Trevor speaking on the phone, and when he gets off the phone he is very excited. "Mom, we need to get a few warriors and go 2 towns over. I found a vendor who sells hawthorn walking sticks and he has a few of them. I told him that I needed them for my grandfather. He is holding them for me, but we need to get going now. He will only hold them for an hour for me. Plus, he gave me a discount on them as I told him I was using my allowance to buy them," Trevor told me. I knew the name sounded familiar to me, and I see in my notes that ash, aspen, willow, and juniper are all good for killing vampires. The books are noting that hawthorn was considered the best for it, due to it being such a strong hardwood. I have heard of it being used as a charm to ward off witchcraft. It was revered as being a religious symbol to humans, as many believe that the branches from Christ's crown of thorns were woven from it. So, it is believed to lend a higher power to it, making it more effective against vampires, well, at least to humans it was. I also noted that ash was associated with life, and aspen was once believed to be a connection with the supernatural. The juniper tree is a symbol of protection from medieval times in England and Scotland. But willow I had crossed off due to it becoming brittle after time. I need this to work, and not break when you go to use it, so willow was immediately cut off the list. Trevor found me a wonderful resource, and I agreed with him. Judy got me 2 warriors to drive us and we headed there immediately. I had one of the warriors contact one of the men in our pack that does woodwork, and he will be ready to go once we return to the pack to cut the walking sticks up. He also mentioned stopping to get some adhesive tape wrap. He is going to sand them for us, but he was going to make them as safe for us as he can. He knows that we will have to strike with force to use the stakes. We won't be able to do it if they have splinters or wood slivers sticking out of them. That was smart on his part. I will pick up the wrap next. We got there in 30 minutes. I went in with him, and after Trevor made his purchase, I bought his last 2 from him. He didn't seem to be surprised by us buying 4 specific canes from him. I hinted at needing them as replacements, but he didn't seem to really care. I was very happy at getting all 4 of them. We will need them, as all the research said to cut their heads off. The elders' notes on vampires said the very same thing. We stopped and got the hand wrap next for the stakes, and I got some extra rolls of the wrap as the kids were still checking to see if we could find more hawthorn canes. One of the warriors ran in to grab that while I googled where I could buy a sword. I was surprised that you can legally own a sword in California, and an hour later we were the proud owner of 6 swords. We will need to cut their heads off, to actually kill them, and our last stop was to the local Catholic church for holy water. I am leaving no stone unturned here. We are on a timeline, and the warriors were glad to see that I was being as proactive as I could be in this situation. I know that they were just as scared by this situation as I was. I was on my phone a lot, as was Trevor, as we tried to locate some more hawthorn canes, and luck was on our side. The town on the way back home had an antique shop that had 3 more canes in it. This means we can make the stakes longer, we need them to be about a foot long. I was worried about trying to make them 9 inches long. We need to be able to have a good grip on them, and I was going to speak to the woodworker myself when we got back. I had the warriors go with the children to the pack house for the kids to eat lunch together after we picked the younger children up from the daycare. I didn't have time to cook for them, as I needed to get a few things done. I had taken 5 hours, instead of 4. I know that all of the kids were hungry, but I still needed to push forward. I will eat when I get this done, I cannot rest until we are ready to go. It was our pack members that I was worried about saving, but I can't let the vampires come back here without us being ready. Plus, I am just not hungry. I am anxious, stressed, and from the looks of things they will be back tonight. They have been here the last 2 nights and they killed 2 members each time they came. They are killing machines, and if we don't stop them, who knows who will be killed next. I am going out on a limb and saying they will probably be back at dusk again. I fully plan on us being ready for them when they get here. I told the man who is the best woodworker we have, what I wanted to do, and what we needed to be done. He was ready for us, and he had 4 more men with him. He showed them what they needed to do as they made these 13-inch sticks into deadly stakes. He measured and cut each cane into 3 even sections. He told them what they needed to look for as they made the stakes, to use the stronger larger end of the section they were working on, as the handle. For them to cut carefully as the longer the stick was the safer the user would be. I shuddered as he spoke to them, he was right. To use a stake, you are going to have to be close to them to drive it into their chests. Close enough for them to be able to bite you. That does not make me feel any safer. It is a nightmare come to life. He walked them through the example of what he was doing twice, handed the last section to the man closest to him, and then started to cut the other 6 canes into the same even sections to be made into stakes. He was careful and cautious, and I felt the tip of the first one that he had made with his knife, and the tip was strong. It is going to have to be able to strike a heart. He passed off the next 3 sections to the other men who all sat carefully and cut with a knee cut with their knives to brace as they worked. No one spoke, and the men worked quickly. After he got all of the canes cut down, he divided them up between himself and the men and they focused on their work. The men took great care with their work, and soon we had a pile of stakes made. Now that they weren't actively cutting, I asked him if he knew someone who could sharpen swords. He looked at me for about a minute before saying, "You have been busy today, haven't you?" I smiled and nodded at him. A short time later 2 men showed up with whetstones to get to work on the swords. A few minutes after they arrived and got to work, some warriors showed up and started to help the woodworker and his team to sand down the ends of the stakes, and then start wrapping them. That grip worked out well. It gave a thin barrier and a more comfortable grip to the stake. The grip helped to keep it from sliding in your hand. They called in more men, and we got things sorted out. The holy water was split into smaller containers, so we could give it out to more men to carry. The warriors appreciated me doing this, as they were the ones on the front lines protecting us all. After last night they knew that their own alpha had been knocked out. That the Delta couldn't beat the one he was fighting either. They were running out of hope, but they were glad for what we had done in such a short amount of time. There was not enough to go around and I told them that we would call around tonight to see if anyone else had what we needed. We will need more swords, that is one of the things on the agenda for tomorrow too. The stakes, we will need as many as we can get, and I am going to make sure that we up it to ash, beech, or oak tomorrow. I am going to go with it just needs to be strong hardwood. I know that it won't kill them, but if we cut their heads off while they are incapacitated, then we might all stand a chance of surviving this. If we don't fully puncture the heart, we are only going to slow them down. I gave my suggestions to the warriors for tonight, and they seemed to agree with what I was saying. It just made sense. They promised to go to the hospital and run it by Aaron and Clive, and asked me to go to the Pack hospital with them to tell them what I had come up with. It is just 5 p.m, and we still have time before dusk, so I agreed to go with them. We still have 2 hours of sunlight, and I plan on being done by dusk. I took a stake with me, and a bottle of holy water. I still had one in my pocket from earlier. I plan on splitting that bottle into 3 smaller bottles and giving them to my boys, as I know that they will help to protect their brothers and sisters. We head off to the Pack hospital to run the plan by Aaron and see what he thinks. We have got to do something, and until we are up to speed and have the items that we need to be able to successfully protect ourselves, we can only tread water. Only when we can get the men armed properly will we be safe, because right now, we have too few items to spread out to over 600 people. I know without a doubt that they are coming, and I gave some ideas for the men to send some warriors to the next town to get to try some items we need to help us stay safe for the night. They immediately sent the men out to get it done. I do not know if it is approved for me to be instructing them. But if the ranked wolves are just going to wait for Aaron, who is still knocked out, to wake to make the call, more members of our pack could be killed while we wait on them to make the decision. Chapter 120 Aaron's POV. I am in a complete nightmare and I cannot escape it. I woke up to find that not only was it not a nightmare, but that I lost not just my son, but my mate too. I am so angry at Austin for going off into the woods. I told him how dangerous vampires were just last night after he heard me speaking to Eloise before I left. I warned them both to stay in our apartments on the top floor. I had brought their food up personally for them, so they had no reason to leave the alpha floor. That way I knew they were safe. I knew he was willful and disobedient, he was his mother made over. But Goddess help me, I loved them both so much. I know that Eloise was all over me to announce to the pack that Austin would take over for me, as the next alpha. She wanted that for him so badly. But he was not going to be a good alpha. I was never going to take it away from Trevor. He was a considerate young man, with a good head on his shoulders. He thought things through and made good decisions. I missed getting to see him when he lived with us, but secretly I was glad that Reagan did that power play she did 5 years ago. I saw what Eloise did, I saw her with my own eyes shove my son down the stairs. She wanted to hurt him and she shoved him hard when she did it. It was absolutely disgusting, and I have been disappointed in her from then on. I knew that she played innocent and nice in front of me, but was a vicious she-wolf to others. Our daughter is much nicer, and I feel so bad that I am going to have to tell her that her mother and brother were not going to be coming back home. I knew when I woke up and both Darren and Clive were in my room that it was going to be bad. I assumed it was just Austin, and I remembered that he had been attacked. I was fighting to get to him, but the man I was fighting was strong. A lot stronger than I thought that he was going to be. I have never had to fight a vampire before, and I didn't know a lot about them. We are going to have to learn about them quickly. We need to move forward with a plan, but we don't have any time to get things done. It will be dusk in less than 2 hours and my room is silent. None of us know how to prevent another attack that we all know is about to be coming our way. They have been here the last 2 nights, there is no way that they won't try it again. We are easy to be picked off, and I felt like they were toying with us last night. I am ashamed to admit how upset I am about all of this. I am disappointed at my lack of knowledge on how to fight them. We have never had an issue with them here at Blood Tracker before. Frankly, I have no idea how we are going to be able to defend ourselves from them tonight. I am trying so hard here to come up with ideas, but I am in so much pain from losing my mate and child. I am sick with grief and all that I feel is anger. I just want to kill them. Trust me, no one here wants them dead, more than me. I can hear my son's screams of pain and terror in my mind, just like it was happening right now. I will pray to the goddess that will end, as that is not a memory that I want to keep. I would rather remember him when he was happy. My mate as well. I want her to stay in my head in positive ways, not bad memories. I see Clive sit up about 10 seconds before we heard a knock on the door. That means Regan is coming, he already knows her scent. Sometimes I wish that she loved me as much as she loved him. I lied when I said that I would never make her my Luna. I would have. She is smart, beautiful, and strong. But she is in love with him, and that would have never worked. I will defer to him on this because it was her choice, not his, that got them to this point. I found my mate, and that helped, but I loved my time with Regan. I was surprised to see several of my strongest warriors enter the room ahead of her. She moved right to Clive and he gave her a kiss. I can see that the men have sheathed swords, and pointed stakes with them. They have been really busy today, and I am proud of their initiative to get things taken care of. I do not want to lose anyone else here at Blood Tracker. Jeremy, great job on getting this together so quickly. I am glad that we are getting a plan together. What have you decided on to help protect the pack? I asked him. Actually, Regan made up the plan. I would rather you heard it from her, Jeremy told me, and I was stunned. Since when did my men take orders from her? But I realize that she is surprisingly calm. Like she is not bothered at all by the looming threat of the vampires returning here to attack us again. I took the youngest to the daycare and the oldest with me as we checked books and the elders' online information and manuscripts about vampires. We all learned a lot today, and Trevor contacted a business about 40 minutes away that had some of what we needed. We also got the things that Martin, the woodworker, told me we needed. We managed to get a total of 7 canes made of very hard wood, called hawthorn. It is alleged in the books and manuscripts that we read to be the best to make stakes from. It is supposed to have been advised as having holy properties from the human deity with it. We managed to find 7 canes today made of this wood. We got a total of 21 stakes made from those canes. They are all ready to be used. We also stopped in that town and bought all the swords they had, so we have 6 of them right now. The stakes are not noted as being 100% on killing them, but cutting their heads off was. I want to stab them with the stakes, and then while they are incapacitated, remove their heads. I also got some holy water. Anything that I could get my hands on today, to prepare us for tonight, I got for the pack. I am worried about our pack members. I came up with a plan for tonight, but we came here to run it by you for approval, Regan said in a confident tone. She seems fearless, but I know that she did this to protect our pups. I looked at both Clive and Darren. They are just as stunned and impressed with her, as I am with what she has done today. She just took over and got things done, while we were trying to figure out a plan of action. The fact that our children helped her makes me proud. I was very happy that she gave Trevor the nod of getting the ball rolling. I know that she is just as proud of him, as I am. He will be a good leader here at Blood Tracker, and I was glad that she was as effective as she was with getting everything prepared. Okay, I am very glad of all that has been done to this point. What else did you have planned for us to stay safe tonight? It will be dusk in less than an hour and a half. There is not much we can do to protect the pack, I told her, and she nodded, and Jeremy motioned to her to take the lead on it. Apparently, that was her idea too. I can see that we have greatly underestimated her, and her abilities. She has been getting everything done on her own. I am pretty surprised that the men took orders from her though. She still had that stigma of being a breeder on her, and that was a big reason why she stayed to herself. A lot of she-wolves judged her for her title. It didn't matter that she had no choice in it. Tabitha and Jennifer had friends and family in this pack, and Michael did too. They were annoyed at what happened here 15 years ago. Even though they had been in the wrong, and Regan was clearly the victim. The families of the 3 people killed for attacking her still hated her and blamed her for the whole thing. That is where you come in. We need the pack members to get blankets, sleeping bags, and things they can easily carry from their homes, and come to the pack house. We need to put everyone on the top 2 floors. They will not be able to reach them there. We will have the doors and windows boarded up on the first 2 floors. We need to take all the warriors off of patrols, and use them to secure the pack house, the hospital, and our home. They will be boarding up the windows here at the hospital, and at my house. We can take in people there too, we have plenty of room there too. That way we can be safe overnight until the sun comes up again. These 3 areas all have food storage already there, that way we can split up the warriors so they can sleep, and change shifts with each other to stay fresh through the night. I don't think anyone slept last night. They will be coming back here, and soon. The men took several trucks and they should be back any minute. I was going to have the construction men help them to board everything up. They will board the building up from the inside to secure it. They will then stay where they were assigned. We have a total of 21 stakes and 6 swords. We will divide them up 7 stakes at each location, or we can take 2 less at ours, since our home is smaller, and you can have more at the pack house, so the first 2 floors can be covered. The top 2 floors will be on lockdown. I believe that we can hold them off tonight, and then get more done and prepared for tomorrow, Regan said in a matter-of-fact tone, and I am really impressed with her thought process on this. That is brilliant, Beauty. I am so proud of you, Clive said. I happen to agree with him. She is acting like a true Luna. I hate to say it because my heart hurts to even think it, but I know that Aloise would have fought her tooth and nail over this plan. She would have been mad that she hadn't thought of it herself and dug in to prevent it from happening. She would have been wrong for it though. Lunas are supposed to do what they can to help protect the pack. Regan was stepping up in a big way to do so, and she was totally correct in what she thought. It was an excellent plan, and it was very well thought out. I was proud of her too. I know how much she worries about our children. She protected them with her plan. It also protected our warriors, who I was terrified were just going to be picked off a little at a time until they all ran off. She thought about our pack members too, even though they have never been welcoming to her. I am impressed, Regan. I will do what you said now. For a night or a few nights, we can do this until we can neutralize the problem. Once we kill them we will get that wall built so we won't have to worry about this kind of attack again. I am willing to get the same pressure plates that Blake has now too. We need to know when someone comes into our land, I see the value of it now. We will get an alarm, so we can let all the warriors know where it was tripped, so people can be looking out for the trespassers. That way we don't ever get caught unaware again. We will start getting things done again first thing in the morning. We can go to other cities and get the additional supplies we need. We can get a list made up tonight. We can get it taken care of quicker with more hands on deck. Thank you for thinking of your fellow packmates and keeping us all safe. I know that some of them still give you a hard time. I know that I speak for all the Blood Tracker pack members when I say thank you, I told her. She blushed a little at the compliments that I gave her. But she deserved them, all of them. We will all make it through the night, because of her. I got up out of bed and was momentarily dizzy because the punch I received from the vampire I fought, had shattered my eardrum. My wolf, Roman, was healing it, but it was a hard blow, and it was taking time to heal. I know what strong fighters those vampires are now, they are no joke, as Clive and I are two of the strongest fighters in the pack, and we were about equal to them. Neither of us was gaining the upper hand until Eloise screamed, and I looked over at her to see what had happened. The next thing I knew, everything went black. I am lucky that he didn't take the opportunity to kill me right then or feed off of me. But I am ready to deal with them, as soon as we are in a position to be successful against them. That meant having a plan, a very solid plan in place to beat them, because I do not think that we will be given another chance to do it. I believe that they will get even more aggressive after they find out that we will be fighting back. We can split the difference and just do the pack house and hospital. That way we only have to secure 2 buildings, I suggested. I see Clive and Darren shaking their heads at me. I must have missed something. No, we will need as much space as we can get. We have a lot of pack members. You will only be able to get between 350 and 400 people to sleep on the top 2 floors. My home is large, and we can get at least 100 people in there. Besides our family and the warriors in mine, it won't be optimal, but as long as they can be safe, we will have to make it work. We can have all the children sleeping in our room with us. The warriors will need to take turns on watch during the night. They can be stationed at every door and window. We can limp through tonight, with the plans that we have in place. The rest will have to stay at the hospital, which will be the worst sleeping arrangement, as the floor is hard and cold. But again, God is willing, 1 night, maybe 2, while we get a plan in place. I am positive that they will be coming back. That guy Clive fought came back last night. I saw him after I tried to call my parents and couldn't get through, she told us. I tried to keep my guilty expression off of my face when she told me she tried to call her parents. From what Clive has told me, they always answer her. So even with being worried about her parents, and her children, she still managed to put together a great plan to keep everyone safe. I need to tell her, but this is not the best time. I know that I would put it off for a while if I could, but if I did, she would be even more upset. Reagan, I need to tell you something, and I need you to stay calm, I told her, trying to keep the guilt I was feeling off of my face. Aaron, what is going on? You are clearly keeping something from me. Did something happen to my parents? Are they okay? Reagan asked me. I came out to tell you last night, but I needed to know if you knew anything about what your dad was doing first. Blake is furious, and he asked me to see if you did know what he had planned, or had put your dad up to it. He feels you might have known and just didn't say. I knew from what you said last night that you didn't know anything. I was about to tell you what had happened, but then Austin came running out of the woods, I told her. Aaron, you can just tell me what stupid thing Dad did to get in trouble. I am quite sure it was just him. Mom never did anything that would warrant her getting in trouble. I would apologize for it, but I don't know what he did just yet. I have a feeling that Mom may need to come and live with me, here at Blood Tracker. If you are okay with allowing her to do that. I am sure that Dad might be put to death. Blake is not known for letting a punishment pass, Cheryl said, and I see Clive's arms tighten around her. Clive already knew, I told him after he broke the news of Austin and Eloise to me. He needed to know, so he could help Reagan get through this. Your dad has gone too far and is currently in the cells at Black Moon, Reagan. I would have let your mother come and live here, but I am sorry to tell you that she is dead. She was killed yesterday, I said as gently as I could. I hope that she can hear the sympathy in my voice. I see Regan start to slide down to the floor as she passed out from the shock of hearing that her mother was dead. I tried to tell her as nicely as I could, but it is a great shock to find out that your parent was killed. I hit the button for a nurse to come and help Regan. I feel terrible for her. I wish her dad had left it alone like she had asked him to, but I know Graham. He doesn't listen to anyone. I had heard what happened and Graham deserved to be killed, and in a very violent way for what he had done. But even I knew better than to do what Blake had done, on both counts. How could he have cheated on his mate like that? Forrest and Kevin looked so much alike, other than their coloring. How could Blake have even thought Kevin didn't belong to him? It was clear to me that he was the father of all 4 of their children. I just don't know how he was able to cheat on her, knowing that she would feel it. That was the only thing she could not come back from. I have to say I was very disappointed in him. But he asked me to ask Regan. He knew I would know if she was lying, and she wasn't. She didn't know what her dad had been up to at Black Moon. I still need to tell him that, and I will, right after I make sure that my pack members are all safe and secure for the night. Chapter 121 Regan's POV. I don't know how long I had been out when I woke up, but I woke up scared that I had lost time, and we just didn't have any to spare. I sat up quickly and my head felt dizzy for it, but I need to move. I need to get to my children, and my home and help prepare for our guests whom we all know are coming. How long was I out? I asked the room. The nurse just arrived, to check on you. You weren't out a minute. Like 40 seconds, Clive told me, and I could see concern for me on their faces as the nurse checked my pulse. I remember what Aaron just said, and I don't want to discuss it right now. We have a more serious matter to attend to. I cannot focus on what he just said, or I will not be worth anything to help out. I pushed my emotions to the back of my mind, so I can help prepare my home for the uninvited guests that I know are going to be coming soon. Her pulse is elevated, she needs to take it easy, the nurse announced to the group before she left the room. Clive, we need to get home. Aaron needs to direct people to where they need to go. Aaron, please do not send anyone from Tabitha's, Jennifer's, or Michael's family to my home tonight. This is a stressful enough situation without the opportunity to be harassed inside my own home, as I try to avoid them as best I can. They can go to the pack house, or the hospital. Start splitting up the warriors with half of them at the pack house on the first few levels, and a few worked in on the top 2 levels, just in case they manage to get through. The other 40% can come here to the hospital, as it is smaller than the pack house, but has a lot more windows needing to be covered. It provides the vampires with a lot of opportunities to break in here. I can take about 30 of them in my home, and include them in the count of the 100 I told you I could take. That way they can split the duties for the night, and be able to sleep, and we can still cover both floors, I told him, and got up from the bed. I stood still until I felt normal again, and started to move out. Oh, and there needs to be a sword on the first 2 levels at the pack house. 1 each on the 2 floors of the hospital, and on each floor at my home. They need to be in the hands of a strong and quick warrior. I have a feeling that they won't be incapacitated for long if we do manage to stake them in the heart, and we will have to strike fast. I believe that anyone coming in a window needs the holy water, but frankly, I can't tell you if it will really work for us or not. I went with the suggestions that we found that the elders made as recommendations. I think that holy water should be thrown on them when they attempt to come in any of the windows, or doors. Whoever tests it first, needs to mind link a warrior at another location to advise them of what is working, or what is not working. I did the best I could with the time I had today. Goddess willing, we will all live to see tomorrow. Oh, and please advise if you manage to kill one of them." I continued to give instructions to them all, and Jeremy was writing down some of the points for himself throughout my little speech. I know I am not in charge, but I have the most research done on them today. I want to share my knowledge with them all, as we need to stick together to make sure we make it through the night. The warriors seemed okay with me giving out instructions before leaving, but someone needs to get this ball rolling. I stopped in the hallway outside the room and called back to them. The men need to start helping get the windows and entries boarded up. We need this done before the sun sets tonight. They will be here at dusk, so we need to be prepared for them. Please note it as you send out the mind link to the pack. The women need to bring sandwiches from home, bottled water, and something for snacks, as we will be on lockdown for the whole night. They won't be able to go and cook in the main kitchen. It needs to just be the warriors there, in position and waiting to deal with them if they enter. I walked away with Clive, and I was glad to see a truck was already parked outside the hospital with the lumber and 2x4s to secure the doors and windows. They bought skill saws, to be able to cut down the plywood for the windows. The same delivery was at my house, and we unloaded what we needed, and the warriors came with the children from the pack house. The rest of the wood and boards were taken to the hospital to help get all the windows covered there. The smaller children went inside with 2 of the warriors. Our older children stayed with us to carry the wood and cut boards inside to be drilled into place to secure our home. I told the older children once they had helped bring the wood inside that they could go get their blankets and pillows for a sleepover in our room tonight. They gave a smirk at how I phrased it, but I wanted them all with us. I wanted to see that they were safe. I won't be able to focus if I thought that any of them were not safe. The warriors were very efficient at getting the windows boarded up, and some left to go over to the hospital to help get it secured and ready, as we only had about 30 minutes of sun left before it started to set. We had a total of 80 people in our home. The larger families that arrived first were able to pick some of the children's bedrooms upstairs with us. A family to a room, and that helped them to settle in quickly. The people downstairs were singles or just couples, and some of them did bring their own blankets and pillows for the night. They were nice about being allowed to stay here, pleasant to us, and not just to Clive. They were nice to me as well, and I suspected that the pack had been told that I helped spearhead the bulk of this. That I stepped up when they needed me, to try to make it through the night with no loss of life. We were about to secure the door to our home, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't see anyone still out in the vicinity. I would hate for someone to be locked out, alone, and with no defense against the vampires. With this being done so quickly, someone may have fallen behind or had an issue in getting to an area of safety. Clive and I went outside to check for any pack members before we had our home secured. We didn't see anyone, and no one had been advised as not being secured. Aaron had put out a pack-wide link to see if anyone had been left behind, with no response. I hope everyone is as safe and secure as we can get them for the night. I glanced over to where the vampires always came from and stiffened in surprise. It is not quite dusk, the sun was still out, and yet I see he is already standing there. He is looking at us as we backed away towards the house, with a smirk on his face. He seems amused at our attempt at trying to keep the pack safe. Clive sent out a mind link to Aaron to let him know that the vampires are here, as we see the other 2 step up next to him, and they also gave us a grin. They have the upper hand, and they know it. They think that we only have the window boarded up as our only defense. I hope that they are in for a big surprise tonight, but I have no idea how well what we have is going to work. I called out to Jeremy, who had stepped out when he saw us both tense up. He already suspected what we were looking at, and as soon as we ran to enter the house they were ready to secure the door. The warriors were on it as soon as it slammed shut. Locking the door at the deadbolt and door, before drilling the wood, and then the boards into the wall. The house was silent except for the noise of the two drills working to secure the door before they could get there. Clive stood at the door, helping another warrior hold the wood in place as the large piece of wood was drilled into a stud in the wall on both sides of the door. The first piece was just over the size of the door. The second large board was large enough to get to the next stud down on the wall. The warrior that had been there with Clive moved and started marking where the drill holes were in the wood so that when the boards were put in place they wouldn't be drilling directly into the screws. The door was secured, and it was no surprise to any of us that within 30 seconds of it being fully secured, we heard the sound of knocking on it, followed by laughter. "Do you really think this pitiful attempt you have made can keep us out, my lovely?" I heard the flirty one ask in a mocking tone. I am not going to answer him. He has no idea where I am right now. Clive grips my hand in his, and before we can walk to the stairs to go up to our room we heard, "I can smell you, I can hear you, and I know that you will be back in your room soon. I will see you later, lovely." We all heard something scratch across the door, and it sounded like some metal nail being pulled across it. I shuddered at the sound as I knew without a doubt that it was the nails on his hand that did it. A clear warning that tonight will not be peaceful. I started praying to the goddess to keep us all safe tonight, as we are going to need all the help that we can get. I am quite sure they are going to go and check out all the buildings, and I almost wished we had a way to see outside, and then remembered I have cameras outside my home. I headed for the computer desk in the living room with Clive, and Jeremy, right behind me. I had made the cameras hidden, and inconspicuous when they were installed. I didn't want Eloise to know about them, as I wanted her to mess up and try to hurt one of my children here at my home. It was going to go quite differently than it would have before, as all I needed was some proof of her actions. Erin deleted the proof when she pushed Trevor down the stairs, but I knew that he had seen it. He still loved her, as they were indeed mates, but I could tell that things were different between them after that happened. I doubted that it was just because I brought my children out to my home to be safe. I brought up the outside cameras and showed them to Jeremy. Thankfully, we have a total of 8 cameras. 4 on the second floor, and 4 of them on the first floor. They are all fixed shots and do not move, but they cover a large area around our home from the second floor and a closer view of people on the ones on the first floor. They are tiny too, unless you were looking for them you would not notice them at all. I had them painted to match the gutters, and with them being an inch long and a little over a half inch high, you really wouldn't see them. No one by me and Clive knew they were there, but we need to be able to see where they are. Jeremy nodded at me in approval as I showed him how to work it. I had whispered to him that he can just leave it up as a quad shot of the higher shots so we can see them coming. I showed him how to change them up so he can predict which window and door they would try to get in. He can then mind link to warn us and the other warriors where they are going to attack from. We went upstairs and I had already made some peanut butter and jelly sandwich for all of the children, and us. I didn't want my children to be scared while we were hanging out in our room. I had the youngest ones pick 2 books each for bedtime, for me to read to them. I gave the extra sandwiches I had made to Jeremy to pass out to the warriors. They had all been too busy trying to secure all the buildings to eat. I know that the hospital had food for everyone there, including the staff and warriors. All of the pack members going to the pack house had been told to bring sandwiches, snacks, and bottled water to eat for the 10 hours that they would be there. We should all be fine until morning. Clive told me through MindLink that they were trying to figure out how to get into the pack house. They were really putting a lot of effort in, and one of the men even managed to get in on the 3rd floor. It was not the flirty one, but the larger male. He had black hair, just like the female did. The flirt had sandy blonde hair. They all had red eyes, and I now knew from my studying about them, that meant that they drank from humans. Yellow eyes meant that they drank from animals. I was trying to figure out how they managed to get to the third floor of the pack house. He must have climbed the tree near the pack house and jumped. I remember how the flirt had literally jumped from the ground to stand on the shingles of the abutment for the roof that ran around the middle of the house at the start of the second floor. It was like it was nothing to him. They had 2 warriors on that floor just in case, and we heard that the holy water had not worked, at all. But the stake did. As the vampire approached one of the warriors, they said that the other, who had the stake for that floor, was able to stab him in the back and tried to pierce his heart. He hit a rib, and slightly missed his target, but they hurt him, and he quickly went back out the window he had come in. The warriors on the 3rd floor were the last defense for the pack members on the 4th and 5th floors. I know that they were happy at getting him to go back down to the ground. We were told that they had spoken to each other, and then went around testing doors and windows. They were also noted as having been laughing about the holy water being thrown at them. It didn't burn them, or hurt them, from what we were told. I was disappointed, but that is one less errand we will have tomorrow. We were told that they were headed over toward the pack hospital to try their luck there, but they were cautious there too. Testing out the windows and the doors, trying to find an easy way into the facility. The warriors kept trying with the holy water, but it never worked for them. I was kind of hoping for us to be able to use it if they tried to break in here, and I also had my gun on my nightstand, 2 steps from where we were in our room. I knew that they would be coming here to try to get in here tonight. I heard what he said, and Clive was furious. He was worried too, because they fought hard last night, and they were both very strong. It ended in a draw, with neither of them winning. I knew Clive was tired and was glad that I had shot at the vampire, but I will have to shoot better next time. I will have to hit him in the eye, not in his chest like I had been doing. We need him to be really hurt so we have the time it takes to stake him, and then chop his head off. We will burn the bodies in the morning, we won't be taking a chance on trying to do it tonight. I read the children a few bedtime stories. I tried to act normal for them. Some of them fell asleep as I read, some fought sleep, and all of the little ones thought that the sleepover was fun. The older kids were all mind-linked and given one of the younger children to assist in case of emergency. We will need their help in getting all the children to safety. 2 of the warriors who were in the hallway knew to get them all to my bathroom and barricade the door. We will fight off the vampires to save the children. The children were going to grab their assigned child that Clive had given them, and Atlas would be the one on his own to get himself to the bathroom. He was disappointed that he didn't have a younger child to assist, but he was proud that he was old enough to not need an older sibling to help him, as he is 12.5 years old. Clive was mind-linking the oldest while I continued to read to the children. Clive kept rubbing my back to comfort me while he spoke to them. He was like a bonus dad to them all anyway. He had been a constant in their lives and they had all lived with us for the last 5 years. Aaron was busy with pack business, and Clive was a little less busy, so he had more time with them all. I was exhausted and ready for some sleep. In the back of my mind, the sadness I am carrying for my mother reminds me that I needed to shower and cry while I am in there. I haven't accepted the information as true yet. I needed to see her, to verify for myself that this isn't some horrible trick. Because it does not feel right to me. It doesn't feel real to me. I am still praying that it is not real. That she is hurt, and being treated, but not dead. But in my heart, I know that she is. Aaron has no reason at all to lie to me, and I also know that Dad probably did do what Aaron said that he did. I need more information before I can process this, but the raw pain in my heart at losing my mom is worse than I ever thought it would be. To not see her smiling face again, to be able to get a hug when I need it from her. I don't have a lot of people in my life willing to do that for me. It is only my children and Clive now. I excused myself to go take a shower, and I know Clive knows why I am going. I don't cry very often, but he knows what I look like before I do. Chapter 122 Reagan's POV. I felt better after I cried in the shower. I let out all my anger and frustration at this situation. All of the sadness and despair that I felt because I didn't really get to say goodbye to my mother. My heart is broken, and knowing Dad had something to do with it, is making me angry at him. Both Mom and I have told him over the years since we got here to stop. To stop trying to control things, to stop trying to lead them where he wants them, to stop trying to get vengeance for me. To just enjoy time with Mom, in their new home, and just relax. Mom was finally happy again after getting Dad away from all his girlfriends. He had finally gained her trust again. I had heard rumors from other pack members at Silver Blade that had mentioned what my dad did back in the day when I was still a child. When I got older I knew about it firsthand, and I didn't like it. It was disrespectful to my mother. Plus, I looked just like her. If she couldn't hold his attention, what hope did I have to be able to do it when I met my own mate? I remember realizing that I would need to have my mate tied down to be able to control him. I didn't want to be seen as weak by my pack. I wanted them to all think that whoever my mate was, that he loved me, and only me. That ended up blowing up in my face, but I have a chosen mate now, and he has been loyal, and loving, to me the whole time. I knew I could trust him. In fact, he refused to leave the pack for any reason, just in case he ran into his actual mate. He wouldn't meet her here, he felt safe in that. He only wanted me, and I have to say that we both loved each other very much. We may not be true mates, but I am okay with what we have built together. We have marked each other, and I want to grow old with him and watch our pups give us grand pups. We already know that it is me and him together, no matter what comes. I was glad to see that my mom was finally happy again lately, and thought that things were really good between them. For the last several months, Mom has been happier and more open to me. We are having nice conversations with each other like we never had before. The last several visits here with me were a more special time together. We have never been this close. What I liked best about our relationship over the last few years, was that she was proud of me, she was finally proud of me. I hated to know that was not going to happen ever again. No more conversations, no more support, no more hugs that let me know that she loved me. No more giving me advice on raising my pups, or what to do in case of situations like we are currently facing. It was all gone, over, and I can feel the change in me. I was angry already. I wanted to punish someone for taking her away from me. I wanted the person who had done this to suffer for taking my mother away from me. I was hoping that my parents would be able to grow old together at Black Moon. To be happy as they entered their golden years, traveling, and experiencing life together. Dad had built Mom her dream home and she has been a lot happier for the last 12 years. I know that she had finally forgiven Dad and they have been a lot closer over the last 6 months. Who knew her happiness would be so short-lived? I needed to know more. I needed to know why. What could have happened at Black Moon to have resulted in my mother being killed? I am sure that if Dad is locked up, he clearly had some part in it. Probably had a big part in it if I am being honest, but I will never believe that he would kill her. Dad loved Mom, and I know in my heart that he is suffering a great loss now. It is killing me to not know what happened there. All I do know is that if I can, I will kill the person responsible for her death. I will take away someone that they love before I do it, so they can feel the same suffering that I do right now. Earlier I had things to focus on, like getting my house secured. But now, with nothing but my children's breathing going on around me, I have time to think. It is not good for me to think, because all I can think about are scenarios to avenge my mother. I cannot stop my mind from going there. Jeremy spent the last 2 hours watching for them to come back into the camera shots. We knew that they had gone to the hospital, and then back to the pack house again. We were kept up to date on their movements through the mind link between the warriors. It seemed like they were avoiding this house, but I didn't know why. I was thinking that they probably felt like they had a larger number of easier to handle victims at the hospital. They had more windows at the hospital, and now that we knew the holy water was useless against them, they were stretched even thinner. There were more total potential victims at the pack house. I knew before the warrior watching the cameras announced their arrival that they were here. I could feel it, and when I heard the feet hit the shingles outside my window, I knew. I already knew which one of them it was. I felt like he was bolder than the rest of them and was being deliberate with messing with me. I feel like it was because I had shot him, numerous times. He clearly has an agenda now. The other two went around and tested all of the windows on the first floor while the flirt wandered around on the abutment trying all the windows on the second floor. It was a short shingled area slanting away from the house. It extended out about 6 feet from the house. It went all the way around the home and the occasional rain would land on it, and let the gutters take it away from the foundation. What I didn't know was how good his senses actually were as he came right back to our window, and tapped gently on the glass like he already knew that our children were with us in there. "I know you are there, lovely. I will not hurt you, you are probably the only one safe here in this pack," he said to me, and Clive gave a warning growl to him. I had already stood up from sitting on the floor, got my gun off the nightstand, and started getting my extra magazines out. I will not be playing with him anymore. If I have to shoot him, I will make it a much better shot than I did last night. This is life and death for me and my family. I made a mental note to get more magazines for the gun tomorrow, and bullets too. "Why are you here? You need to leave. I will not allow you to hurt my children or my mate. You need to go somewhere else, or I swear to you we will do what we need to survive. Nothing personal. This is your last warning. Please leave us in peace," I told him in a low tone. I will not wake my children up, and Jeremy had come upstairs to allow the warrior that was at the door guarding us to take a break. Jeremy had the sword for upstairs with him, in his hand as he crossed over the children to get closer to the window. I knew that if this guy wanted in the house, it would probably be to come into this room. The other two were outside the first floor and were just nosing around. "I scented you the first night, lovely. I can sense your power. I have lived for over 400 years, and I have never sensed anyone else with your level of power. If you are willing to come with me and leave here with me willingly, I will leave your pack alone and safe. If you decide to not come with me, we will come back every night until I have leveled the pack. Do not doubt that we will do it. I would like you to voluntarily come with me, as you will be mine for eternity," he told me. Is he insane? What would possess me to leave my children and my pack, for him? He must be mad. Clive growled even louder, and I had to put my hand on his chest to calm him. "I will not go, my love," I whispered to him, and he wrapped his arms around me and took a deep breath at my neck to calm himself down. "That is the wrong answer, my lovely. But I am sure you will change your mind soon. I will give you another chance, but you only have 3 days to decide. You will either come with me willingly, or I will make you watch as I kill your mate, and your children right in front of you before I take you away. We do not have to go that route. It will cause us to lose years with your needless anger over me killing your family. You will be mine, there is no other way around it. I want you to willingly come to me, with me, and your loved ones will be left alone to live out their lives. As long as you make the right choice here, love, he told me. She will never leave with you. She is mine, and I will not let her go. I love her, her children love her, and she will be safest here. She will not survive very well in your world. Do as she asked, and leave. She will not willingly leave here with you or them. You are disgusting bloodsuckers, and she is a she-wolf. You do not belong with her, she was not made for your world, Clive told him, and we both were surprised to hear him growl back at Clive. 2:16 Love, I will be back soon for you, and I will be needing you to leave with me at that time. If you don't come willingly, then I will take you by force. I have had years of experience in getting my way, much longer than you have. You need to heed my warning, as I do not give threats lightly. So you need to think about whether you are willing to lose such precious little ones, for no reason. When you can just stop the whole thing, and just come to me willingly. I will take you as my own, and turn you so you can live forever with me. No one will ever treat you better than I will, he cooed at me in a gentle voice that was almost hypnotizing. The way he was speaking was so soothing to me, and I believed him. I believe in my heart that he would love and take care of me. Plus, my pups would be safe, and so would Clive. Beauty, do not listen to him, he is just trying to charm you. You need to fight it, baby. He is trying to lure you into agreeing to go with him. He needs you to agree to it, don't. I would rather die protecting you from him than you go along with him to goddess knows where. He is not to be trusted, baby. There is no better place for you than here with me, safe in our pack. I want you to stay here with me forever, baby. I love you, and the kids love you. It would break my heart if you left, Clive told me and gave me a little shake to clear my head. He is right, the way the vampire was speaking to me had me convinced that his offer was a good one. But I need to see my pups grow up. I want to grow old with Clive. I will never leave here with him, not willingly. He needs to know that. Look, whoever you are, it is not going to work. I will never agree to leave here with you. My mate and my children are here and they need me. I do not belong with you, no matter why you want me. Please leave, and do not come back. I swear to you, that if you hurt any of my children or my mate, I will kill you myself, I told him. My voice did not show any of the fear that I was actually feeling when I said it. My name is Draven, love, and it doesn't matter to me at all if you are not willing to come with me. As soon as I caught your scent, I knew that we had to return here to find you. I was lucky to catch your scent on the second day and found you soon after. I am not going to leave you here. I have finally found you after all these years of searching, and you belong to me. There is no way that I will be leaving you here, especially with him. I have already completely forgiven you for shooting me last night. You will not have to worry about anything. I have money for 3 lifetimes, and you are my mate. I have searched for you for hundreds of years. I cannot leave you, I can only tell you that you will be coming with me. Happily or not, you will. I just need to push you far enough for you to be able to accept it. I do not care about your little mate here, or anyone else. I do not fear anyone here, as I said, I have lived for over 400 years. There is nothing that you can do to escape me. Even if you chose death, I would feel it and immediately come and turn you right then. You need to give up being childish, and just choose to come with me. Soon I will mean everything to you. You will be mine forever, my love, Draven said to me, and I felt my heart rate increase. That is scary that not even my death is going to stop him. Oh, I can feel your heartbeat race. I hope it is in excitement, but I know that it is from fear. But you never have to fear me. I swear to you that I will take perfect care of you. Just trust me, and it will make this easier for everyone involved. You are meant to rule at my side. I am not trying to scare you, I do not want to force you, but you will have to come with me. Now that I have found you, I will never be able to leave you alone, I can't. It is exactly why I had to come back last night. You felt me, you felt my presence here. You came to the window and saw me. You knew I was here, without me even letting you know that I had returned. I stayed here watching over you, protecting you, even when your own mate was not here. I will bring more of my people with me when I come back. I have many more people in my coven. We originally came to feed off a few of you, as we found your pack accidentally. But once I caught your scent, I knew I could not leave without you. It is not up for discussion. You will be coming with me, or I will be bringing more of my people, and we will make sure that the pack knows that you are exactly the reason for the attacks. You will be surprised what people will do to their own, to protect the greater good, Draven tells me, and I already know that he is wearing a smirk in saying it. I can hear it in his voice, which is rife with cockiness. His confidence is overwhelming in this situation. He thinks that he has won. It really looks like he has, but I do not want to lose Clive or my children. I do not know what I am going to do. I guess we will have to have a meeting tomorrow to discuss the next steps. There is no way that we can beat a number of vampires. 3 of them alone are causing havoc here at Blood Tracker. I could not imagine what would happen if it were 10 or 15 of them. They would be getting in, despite our safety measures, and they would be hurting us. The casualties alone would be large, especially if they got into the hospital. The injured would not have a chance against fighting them off. If they managed to get to the 3rd floor of the pack house again, they could take out those 2 guards, and the people on the 4th and 5th floors wouldn't stand a chance. It would be a bloodbath up there. I shudder to even think about it. I will have to reason with him. He cannot be correct in this. I have already had 2 mates. You are not my mate. Please, just leave us in peace. You are mistaken. We do not want to fight you over this. You can find another. I am sure that there are women who are fighting over you in your world, I told him. I tried to give him a compliment, to acknowledge that he was an attractive man. I have several mistresses, some have been with me for over 100 years, but you are special to me. I cannot ignore the pull toward you, and I know that you feel it too. You are my mate, and it is different than your mate's pull. You werewolves can manage to ignore it, but in my world, we cannot. You are going to have to come with me. There is nothing that I can do about this. You need to accept it and come willingly with us when we return. No more attempts to stop us, or kill us. One of yours stabbed Corbin tonight, and he is furious. Both he, and his sister Nyx, are now looking for blood on the man who hurt him. They have his scent. He will be the first to be killed when we return, unless you are ready to accept my invitation to come with us. You will be my right hand, my most precious treasure, and you will rule the coven with me. As a beautiful jewel at my side. Do not doubt that I will take you, one way or another, because I will. The amount of damage done to this pack is solely up to you. I do not mind fighting for what is mine, my lovely. I will see you soon. You need to make a good decision here, not just for yourself, but for your pack, mate, and children. I will not hesitate to kill everyone here just to have you, Draven told me. The room is completely silent, as I know my heartbeat is giving away exactly how terrified I am right at this moment. I feel a tear slide down my face at his words. He is right, someone would tie me up to leave me in the woods for him, especially a member of Michael, Jennifer, or Tabitha's family. They would like nothing better than to do just that and make me suffer in a coven, all alone, with a man who just admitted that he had plenty of women just waiting for his attention. I would not be safe at all. I shudder at the thought of what happened to me at the hands of 2 jealous she-wolves. What would happen at the hands of who knows how many angry female vampires, or would it vampires, what is the correct name for their females? I doubt that I would make it a week before they killed me. I will never let him have you, Beauty. Never, Clive tells me and then kisses me. I know that he is trying to comfort me, but he heard what that Draven guy just said, the same as I did. I think that the decision has been taken out of his hands. There is no way the pack will rally behind me. They will have to give me up to save the rest of the pack. Draven didn't sound like he gave a damn about doing it either. He wants what he wants, and apparently, he wants me. I just don't see any way around it. Chapter 123 Blake's POV 3 days, it has just been 3.5 days, and I am losing my mind without her. I need her back. She has to come back to me. I will have to make her see that I have changed. That I only love her, and I don't want anyone else. That it wasn't my fault, I messed up because I was trying to fix our relationship. I was trying to go back to when it was perfect, and never realized that I was being tricked. If she will just come back to me, I will let her kill Graham right there in front of the whole pack after I make him admit what he has done. After I tell them how badly I messed up. She will feel my sincerity, my love, and that I am telling the truth. My plan B is to take the children with me and have them beg her to come back home to Black Moon with us. I know that they don't understand all of what is going on, but what they will understand is that they will never go shopping again with my money if they don't beg and plead with their mother to return with us. I don't mind not playing fair if it results in getting what I want to happen. They better all hope she comes back because I am going to snap here, and soon. I have mind-linked the kids to be ready to go at 8:30 this morning. I knew that Aaron was dealing with vampires and that it would be over an hour and a half in getting to Blackadder, and back again. I was not going to be out there with my children in a very dangerous situation with vampires running around. I was just glad it was his problem, and not mine. The walls around our pack land have been a big help, and a preventative measure for over 15 years. They have saved countless members of my pack by keeping rogues, and other supernatural creatures out. I shudder to think about the damage the vampires are doing over there at Blood Tracker. I was going to help him build his wall. I didn't want them to all die, but they would only be able to build during the daytime hours. They would have to be very careful with it. They have one side up already as our land meets on one side. I have already bought the supplies and the first shipment will be getting delivered today. He had mind-linked me last night to advise what was happening over there, and to tell me that his Luna and their son had been killed the night before by the vampires. I asked him how, as that should have been impossible. The Luna, and his family, should have been kept safe, but he wouldn't talk about it. I am sure it must have been horrible to see such a sight. He does not sound like himself, he is not doing well, and I hope that he doesn't go crazy with losing his Luna. It has happened before to other alphas, and I am struggling with losing my own Luna. I believe that it hurts me worse because I did it. I forced her to have to pick saving our child because of me falling for Graham and his tricks. I know how insulting it is for me to have trusted him, over her. Took Graham's word over anything she had to say. Cheated on her, knowing full well that it was past the point of no return. All with thinking that if I could just press down on her hard enough, she would bend to my will, and comply with what I wanted her to do. I never wanted to break her. But at the time, what Graham was saying to me made a lot of sense. I believed that he was actually wanting to help. He knew the penalty for crossing me, his daughter was still living it, Why he would do it, and think he had a chance to get away with it, blew my mind. There was no way that I would have been able to forgive him. I already know that Cheryl would have stepped in when Forrest came to hurt Kevin. She would have put herself between them and tried to calm the situation down. Forrest might have killed her in his anger, and still, Graham would have won. He set this whole thing up to where he was the only one who could have possibly won in this. In hindsight, I can see where he was the root of all of our problems, but if I am honest, I went there voluntarily. He did lead me, but I was so angry at how things were going between us, that I never stopped to realize that it was me. Me being greedy for her time, and jealous if another man was near her. Possessive of even the time she spent with our children. Angry at her obvious favoritism of Kevin, not realizing at the time it was just her trying to protect him. She knew what was going to happen to him. I got madder and more frustrated by her actions. Her digging in to continue to do it, meant she cared more for him, more than she felt for me, or our other children. If only I had known, she should have told me, she should have made me understand. She tried to, Blake, many times. You either ignored what she was saying, thought she was lying to your face, or twisted her words around in your jealousy. If you look at it from her side, you were completely unreasonable to her. You treated her very badly. She did try to show you a video a while back, like 2 years ago, but you mocked and belittled her. My wolf Kona interjects to me. I messed up, but it was my love for her driving me to do it. She has to know that was why I did what I did. I do love her, I have never loved anyone but her. I snapped back at him. Well, you didn't show it, not like you should have. You took every opportunity to hurt her, per Graham's directions. So let's review, is she the one hurting? Or is it you? Because I can tell you as an eyewitness to what you have intentionally done to her for the last 5 years, she is over you. We both read the note, she will not be coming back here again. You have made her suffer so much, and she already told you. You have succeeded, you broke her. She is not willing to give you another chance, not after the numerous chances that she already gave you. Once you crossed over into willingly cheating on her, that was it. You stepped on the pieces of her shattered heart and made sure to grind them into dust. Well, you won, buddy. You achieved what Graham set out to do. So how does it feel? Do you feel happy about your success? Kona mocked me in the link. I want to destroy something. Tear it apart with my bare hands, and I want to go and deal with Graham in his cell while I do it. 2 birds with 1 stone, but I will have to deal with him later. I need to get headed out for now. I have 4 warriors in the SUV behind me as we head out to Blackadder. All 3 of my children are silent in the vehicle. Forrest and Casey were on their tablets, and Robert was reading a book. At least Robert remembered the rule that Cheryl put in place. No electronic devices in the car. That we needed to talk to each other on trips or learn something new from a book. Yes, they could learn on an electronic device, but she knew that they wouldn't be using them to learn. It was a good rule, and I can remember many happy trips with talking and teasing going on before I tore our family apart. I can't fix everything, but they need to know that all the rules that their mom put in place for them, were still in effect. That we were going there with the main goal to expressly bring her back, not out for a joyride. Forrest, what is the rule in the car? I asked him. I see him tense up for a second before relaxing. Mom left, there is no rule in place anymore, Forrest told me, and continued to play on his tablet. Casey, do you remember the rule? I glanced back at her, and this time I had a warning in my tone. I see Forrest shutting down his tablet, to conserve the battery, and then putting it away. Casey was already shutting her down right now, and she mumbled, "Well, we thought that since Mom left, the rules no longer applied anymore. You both thought wrong. You both know that I am heading to Blackadder to try to get your mother, and Kevin, to come back to Black Moon. That is the whole purpose of the trip. I have to get her back, or there will be hell to pay when I cannot control my wolf anymore. People's lives will be put at risk. This needs to happen. All three of you need to take this very seriously. Your mom has to come back to Black Moon, or Goddess help us all, Kona will not be held back. I am not trying to scare any of you, but you need to know that your mother loves each and every one of you. You need to remind her of that, all of you." I let my tone turn hard towards the end. I know that Forrest will be the one to balk at it. I wait a short time for his response. I already know where he will be coming from, and I didn't have to wait long to hear the whine in his voice as he replied back to me. Mom loves Kevin the most. She always takes up for him and protects him. Even from me. She cares about him and left with him. Don't get mad at us for her running off and doing that. She has shown us time and again who she cares for, and it isn't us. So why should we care that she took her favorite and left? We are supposed to mourn and miss someone who made sure to coddle and protect one of us, not all of us. Forrest said to me. He doesn't know, I only told them about Graham tricking me into messing up. He didn't know that she wasn't playing favorites, but that Graham was busy using him too. I guess I needed to let them know more than just telling them that Graham was using more than me to carry out his plan. Forrest is not quite 15 yet, but he needs to hear this because he will never change his mind about what happened if he doesn't. I hit the voicemail and Graham's voice fills the cabin as I set my phone down on the console and keep my eyes on the road. All three of them are silent as they listen to what was said. I heard all of them gasp at Graham Boulding telling their mother that he will be having Forrest kill his own brother, as the final insult to her. Man, if only Graham made plans to help people, instead of hurting them. He could have been someone to really add value to the world. The recording ends, and the vehicle is silent. I would not have killed my own brother, Dad, I hear Forrest say in a low tone. He doesn't even realize that he was being groomed. That I didn't think that he would do something so vicious on his own. He would have only done it as Graham lined him up, and used his own jealousy of his brother against him. A week ago, was he your brother, Forrest? How about 4 days ago before Kevin took his driving lesson and you had your friends hold him so you could teach him a lesson? He wasn't then either, Forrest. Just like I was being molded into a worse version of myself, so were you. Graham seems like he does things in your own best interest, and I never saw it coming between me and your mother. Until the day she left me, I didn't see that I had done anything wrong to her. Calling her disgusting and vicious names, when I was the one who was wrong the whole time. She was my mate, I should have trusted her completely, but I allowed Graham to trick me. I was so eaten up with jealousy that I wasn't thinking straight. If I had stopped my jealous rage for a moment, I would have realized that she had never cheated. I was so sure of it, that I allowed myself to be poisoned by Graham. If I had just thought about it, I would have remembered that until our 5th anniversary, your mother never left the pack, not once. I explained to them. What does that mean, Dad? Because I don't understand why that is important at all. Casey piped up in the back seat. She is only 10, so this is not something that was made for her ears, but they need to know that their mom was innocent in all of this, and I was the one who messed everything up. Because if she never left the Packland until she was pregnant with you, Casey, and we had no trespassers in that time frame, how could Kevin not be mine? He looks just like me, Forrest, and Robert. We have the exact same face. It is just his coloring is like you, and your mom's. He didn't choose that, just like you didn't. Graham planted the seed in my head, and I ran with it. I did that because I felt like she had hurt me first, by thinking that she had cheated on me. But she never did, and she stayed for so long, even with the vicious things I said to Anne about her. She kept trying to get me to see reason, and I refused. All because I wanted to hurt her like I was hurt. But I was the one who messed everything up. Yes, Graham planted the seeds of doubt. I just want you all to see, and learn from my mistakes. I told her that I loved her, but I hurt her the most. I could have stopped, and thought about the accusation, and the source, but I didn't. I was hurt and so I took it as the truth, accepting it, and going forward with all of Graham's plans. Willing to do it, because I wanted to hurt her, to break her when she never did what I accused her of. The pack believed it, you all believed it, and my ranked wolves believed it. But if any of us truly cared about her, someone would have stood up for her. That was my job to do, and I failed. I failed Kevin, I failed your mom, and I failed myself, I told them. I can see them thinking about what I said, and finally, Robert said, I felt bad about going to sleep on Forrest's side of the room. I know I hurt Kevin doing it. But everyone was on your side, and I didn't want to be the only one besides Mom, to be on Kevin's side anymore. I believe what was being said by you, and the pack, and even though I felt guilty for doing it, I still did it. I will apologize to him when we get there. I have felt bad for months about doing it. Forrest was mean to both of us, but he stopped picking on me when I moved to his side of the room. Forrest had the grace to blush, and then he spoke up too. I have thought about it. What all was happening at home, what was said, and implied. Graham was the root cause of my bullying Kevin. I couldn't help it. Graham made me worry about my position in the pack. I am supposed to be the next alpha, it is my birthright. But Graham told me that Kevin was stronger and smarter than I was. He told me that Kevin was wanting to take away my position, and that was why he was training so hard all of the time. Kevin was stronger than me, he beat me at every turn, and I didn't want you taking it away from me, to give to him. So I was glad when you denounced him, telling the pack that he wasn't your son. I was glad that you never praised him, no matter what he achieved in training. It helped me to become less jealous, but he was always there showing me up at every turn. Graham wasn't obvious about it, he was very covert. He had me mad at Mom for keeping him next to her all the time at dinner. Now that I can think about it, she just wanted to be close enough to protect him, from me. She knew where the danger was going to come from, and she still loved me and cared for me. Giving me advice and being a great mom. I see it clearly now that she is gone. She took care of everything, and nothing will be right again unless she comes back to Black Moon. I miss Mom, I heard Casey say in a small voice. I glanced up and see the tears shimmering in her eyes as she looked back at me. I know you do, baby. If I had known that she wasn't going to come back, I would have prevented them from leaving. But your mother knew that she had a timeline. Graham did it the way he did to provide her with the most pain that he could. She knew that sometime after the cheating started, Graham would have Forrest kill his own brother. She had thought this whole thing out. Your mom is not a violent person, and I know it hurt her to kill Cassandra and the warrior. I bet it was easier to kill the woman that started the end of our relationship. Kara had been very cruel to your mother and I feel terrible for letting her get away with it. Your mother was wasting away, and I am worried that she is not doing well. I just want to see her. I want to tell her how sorry I am, and I will need you to tell her that I stopped with the other women. But she should know that already. She always complained about the pain I gave her when I cheated. I always thought she was lying. I just hope that her love for me is still there, buried deep within her. I just need one more chance to show her how much I love her. I will show her every day for the rest of her life if she will allow me to give her a fresh start, to show her how much she means to me. I will beg on my knees if I need to do so, I said, and I meant it. Whatever I needed to do to win her heart again, I was willing to do it. I will make this right, and I will toe the line to show her that my whole life will now be spent showing her how much she means to me. How much I love her. I will never make the same mistakes again. I will make sure that she and my ranked wolves are the only counsel that I need in my life. She is wise and I was a fool to not listen to her. I hope the kids are up to helping me get her back. I do not know what will happen to me, and the pack, if she isn't willing to come back to Black Moon. Or if you want to pay for more such audiobooks, you can send us a request in a private Facebook group, or join us on WhatsApp, a link is given in the video description. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.